order the meeting of the Stony Brook Community Development District. This is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. The time is 9:01 a.m. We'll let the record reflect that all supervisors are present at roll call with the exception of Supervisor Olive. Madam Chairwoman?
Okay, the only thing that I'll ask, there's a lot of us here today. I would ask that only one person be speaking at a time and not have separate little conversations. If you choose to have a separate conversation, please take it outside so that everybody knows what's going on. We tend to do that at the meetings, and we can't do that today. So thank you. Public comments, would anyone have a public comment? John? Okay, now you have 5 minutes. And this is John Detterbeck.
Thanks, John.
Thank you. I'm here to request permission from the CDD to reestablish a drainage line running from the lot line of my property to the pond on 17. I gave you two Google Earth pictures, one a bigger one that shows the green on 17 and where it sits in relation, and then the smaller one actually shows the demarcation of where potentially I'll need to do some digging to reestablish the drainage. And it's not much. It's probably going to take somewhere around 6 inches of soil and a hump that has become apparent, and it's running from your property into mine, and I've already got the ARC approval for the drainage. When it rains, I end up with about 3 inches of water that sits between the houses for a number of days, and I'm trying to remedy that. Unfortunately, because of the location of the property and we have a power box that's in between the houses right on the lot line, so going toward the street is less ideal than going back to the pond. And if you've got any questions, I'll be happy to answer it. There appears as though there was some work done years ago with gravel or big rocks being added to the ponds, just about the point where it stops before they discontinued doing it. There is a deep valley that looks like it's been rock lined, that it was established for drainage. And it's just, I'm sure, just by growth and the roots underneath has established itself as being there. So,
Okay. So
instead
John,
of just doing it, I wanted to come and make sure we had.
Okay, so this is just rainwater?
Just rainwater.
Okay.
Just rainwater or irrigation, but it sits, I did a trial area where I actually dug out the grass so I could see how much is there. The irrigation went on, and it, because I was able to lower the one section, I was able to actually get drainage down to it, and there is a need for a low spot. It's obviously built up over 20 years.
Okay, John, could you just take a look at that?
Absolutely.
And as long as it's just rainwater and irrigation, as long as it's no household water or pool water,
Nope.
I have no problem with that. Board, are we okay with that?
Yep. The only thing I would say, you're not going to get into the lake bank, because then we might have some lake bank.
No, that's what I was going to mention. As long as the outfall part that comes out into the lake stays over above the bag liners when they redid the banks, which is not going to be an issue. But we'll go out and I'll take a look at it as soon as we leave.
And you said reestablished, so I guess something was there
I believe
initially.
it was there because when you look at right now, there's a pool basically between the footprints of the houses.
Right.
And it just sits, and so it had to have some means of drainage in it, and I put down some stakes just to run a plumb line and get a feel for the grade. And there appears as though there's a hump that it comes up from that swale or from that area that's been established. It comes up, and it may be the roots of the tree that was taken down there as
Okay.
well.
As long as it doesn't compromise the lake bank, and you can do that, and it's just the irrigation, the rainwater, we're okay with that?
Yeah, because I won't dig within 6 feet of the bank. I'm going to go for the stones.
Okay.
So that it has a means of being able to kind of filter anything that would go through.
Okay, John, I'll just have John go over and look at it, and then,
I
Sounds
guess
pretty
your
cut and
neighbor's
dry,
good with it? I mean,
your neighbor's okay with it?
it's on both
Yes.
your land?
Yeah.
It's on both your property, or just
And
yours?
I'm doing the work on my side of the lot line, just that way it's easier.
Okay, and the water will all dissipate from there?
Yep, and
Okay.
it's helping them out as well.
It looks like the pool is on the outer side, so John, when you go out there, just make sure the overflow for those pools won't feed into that.
No, my pool drains toward the other side.
Yeah.
If there's an overflow, and the other pool is on the other side as well.
That's what it looked
so-
like it would be,
Yeah,
Okay.
Will you be available after the meeting?
you bet.
Thanks, John.
Okay, any other public comments? Okay. Golf course, John?
Okay. Got a lot of stuff to go over. And I don't have the financials, so I don't know if we are going to, we'll discuss the back. Is that in there to discuss the back property at a separate time in the meeting? I don't have the minutes.
Oh, you didn't,
Is it in the, is that to be discussed, the
Yeah,
landscaping?
we didn't get booklets this month,
they came Saturday.
not to us.
Okay.
The chair one.
We have copies.
Let me see, real quick. Let me see. I want to look at it.
Okay. We will be discussing the landscaping along Corkscrew, and we can incorporate that at the
Right.
same time. Okay.
Exactly.
So we will continue that. So yes, hold
Right.
up on that.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
three of those issues, the fence, the gate, okay.
Okay.
So, as you know, we just got pine straw put in. Some of that got, I mean, timing wise, it happened right when we were doing the pass too, but it is what it is. Flowers are getting put in tomorrow, new ones are coming in today. We caught a lot of flack every time we take them out. Everybody's like, they're so nice, but we're scheduled for 3, and this is what I consider the second part of the third install, but it's actually the first of the year.
What color are these?
These are petunias coming in, and they are like purple, like a white and, violet, white, and like a pinkish hue,
Okay.
solid color.
Nice. Thank you.
So those are coming in today. We'll start installing those throughout the week this week. What else? Keeping up on the common grounds. Staff-wise, I hired 2 people. One started yesterday, one started today. We're still lacking a superintendent/foreman for that crew. I had a couple interviews last week, nobody showed up. They scheduled it, but they just, call them, just didn't show up at all. One was from Juniper, actually, I thought that was funny. And then talking, so right now I have Brian Cottrell, who used to be the foreman. He's here when he can be in the mornings. It's just not working out. It's just not, I mean, and not to his fault, when he's here it's great, but it's just not competitive.
Consistent, right.
Consistent, and then, so every other week when I got the kids, when I got my boys, I can't be here for that crew at that time.
Right.
So, I kind of wanted to bring up an idea, Todd wanted to know if he could maybe have a shot at it. Kind of do what I do with the common grounds, currently with the,
So he would do both as you do both?
do both, he's here every morning, and he would do it for, kind of like I do, on the common grounds, for a small portion that even Brian's making, right? So Brian's making like 25, or 22 an hour.
Okay.
So let's say he's here now probably 20 hours a week,
Okay.
So what is that? That's 20 times 20, or,
400?
yeah, it's probably 40, right? 40-some?
All right, so
Before,
22 times
250?
20, 440 a week.
so it was like 40,000, I think, a year, 20 times 2080.
2280 a year.
22, I'm sorry, yeah. So, I just wanted to bring it up to you, get your thoughts and see what you think.
If Todd's willing to do it, and you feel that it would be beneficial to the common grounds and the staff, I don't have a problem with it.
Do you have enough,
So,
do you have
it'd be
enough
for like-
resources to let him do that, though?
Yes.
You're pretty tight.
Well,
We're good,
just
the golf
hired-
course is great, and ever since you guys allowed me to have the 3 people and I've got them, we've been great on staff. And we haven't had any major turnover, really, which is kind of odd on the golf course. Common grounds, as you can tell, I just hired 2 people. I just hired a guy that worked for a week the previous week, did great, and just hasn't showed up since. Hasn't called about his check, hasn't,
Okay.
so, I'm just, yeah,
Okay, well, here's a thought.
I think it'd be better glue for that department.
Okay, let's try it. And should it not work out, and should Todd feel overwhelmed, we will leave him in that position, hire someone else. But for the time being, I say, if he wants to do it, let it go. Let's make it work.
So what are you gonna raise him to?
So once again, he'll be paid from 2 different departments. He'll still
Right.
get paid from the department.
Right.
And it would just give him, like I said, what was it, 22, give him 20.
Give him an extra 20, is that, if Brian's getting paid 22...
And see, Todd being here full-time,
Yeah.
Brian's only doing it half the time.
Right,
Or, whatever you feel. I mean, I can come back to Todd and say, hey, the board says this. I mean, it's your decision.
okay. I mean, that's 40 hours a week. I mean, he's still getting paid. I mean, he wouldn't be doing the full...
And he's salary on the golf course.
Right, so...
Which is,
70, no, hold on, I don't even,
We'd have to look at that.
I would, is it 75? Yeah,
Okay. I mean, if that's what Brian is
it
making,
is, yeah, 75. I'm sorry.
and then we're reducing an employee and putting it here, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, so there's minus the 23,000, then you got the
Payroll tax.
payroll taxes, benefits, all that stuff.
Okay.
So you're looking probably another 27% of that, $4 grand.
Okay, so I mean, if he's willing to go with 20, are we okay with that, Chris?
John, I would say, I mean, it's your department. You make the decision. I would just maybe make it a temporary thing.
And see how it goes, right.
And have a way to back out of it,
Absolutely.
and just,
Definitely have an offering.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it's something that the board needs to approve.
well, I agree with that, and
Right.
but I also think it's like, all right, so if you move him into a new, well, he's not salary, so he would get, however that income is going to work, on a temporary basis, do you move him back if it doesn't work out? But he's
Yeah,
gotta-
absolutely.
Obviously, he's gotta agree to that, he's gotta.
Absolutely. No, you're not gonna get paid for no work you don't do. Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know. The number 15 kind of sticks in my head, but that's just me. I don't know why.
Well, John, I would say talk to him.
Okay.
Tell him what we proposed, and then take it from there. But I think it's, I mean, he's there, he's probably helping out as much as you are when Brian's not here.
Absolutely.
And
No,
it's not a full-time, excuse me, it's not a full-time position, so I think he could, if he's here earlier in the morning and get them started, that's great. Gives you more time at the golf course, because then you don't have to do that first thing.
It's true.
Okay, all right.
You know your numbers and you figure out what's fair.
Okay. Absolutely. So to the bathrooms with the ice machines, it's kind of going hand in hand with Jeff. We've run into some small issues, some drainage, but I think they're coming out tomorrow. The plumber's coming out tomorrow. TWC came to install the ice machine on 6, but we need some drainage. We need to drill through the wall.
We got some other stuff to do there too.
Yeah, tie into the sinks, add some drainage. One of the issues is having drainage. You have to have 2 separate drains for this ice machine, because one for the bin and then one for the ice maker itself. They can't be tied in together per law. So we just got to cut some drains in the concrete out front for that. But TWC is holding it for us.
While we stay on that issue, we do have the company that put the shutters around the snack bar by the pro shop is looking to put shutters around the bathroom, so we're able to lock that bathroom down at night.
Good.
I mean,
So we need to get that installed before the ice
yeah.
machine?
So we have the
That's the plan?
ice machine in the box, it's at John's. We have the electric, we'll have the water as of tomorrow, and then they will install the shutters, and then we can put the ice machine. So then we can do away with half of our water out of a igloo cooler
Yeah.
deal that doesn't taste so hot.
Right.
And then we gotta start looking at how we're gonna get electric to 14, which is a little bit more of a project,
Yeah.
Right.
okay? So that's where we're at.
Very good.
And with that being said, the bathroom to the right, I think it's the men's bathroom on 6, the tile right when you walk in, It's busted pretty significantly now, probably approaching 6 inches inward. It needs to be addressed. I mean, I kind of wanted to just take some self-floating, like, thin set and just put it in front of it for now, just so it's flush and it's not a tripping hazard, right?
Okay.
Let it set up for, but what we gotta do, we're gonna have to address that. Whether we get new tile or we just cut a straight line and get some tile and put it in there and make it for now.
My suggestion, we go with the stopgap measure for now, and then we look at later and retile the bathrooms.
I agree.
Agreed.
Can do that when we do the bridges,
Yeah,
potentially.
There you go.
Or
There
if
you
it's
go. Nice.
stopgap can work for 2 years, we can do it, we can redo the whole place.
right.
John, while you do that repair work, is it feasible just to have, like, that bathroom out of commission for 24 hours? Everyone just
Absolutely,
use the
yeah.
other one? Okay.
I mean, I'll put a sign up that says use men and women for the day, no problem.
Pretty much everybody uses both anyway.
Yeah. We have some concrete repair, a little bit out at the bag drop, out front there, we repaired that, and then on 14, we had a slab by 14T that we repaired. This week, we're finally gonna get some good, nice weather.
Yes.
Coming out of this bad, terrible, terrible weather, but things are holding up fairly nice, considering this late. I'm pretty happy where we are.
One quick question, Jeff and John, with the electric.
Yes.
Did we put electric at the cart attendants? Are we doing that?
You do it, yeah.
It can be
Okay.
done. That's not that big of an issue. That's not an issue.
Okay.
As far.
The guy who did the bathroom was supposed to look at that to do it there, but they didn't.
Okay.
So I don't know.
The only thing is, I would like to be able to get that done before the summer so that they can get a fan in there.
Yeah.
And
get it
then,
done.
so, I mean, that would be my biggest concern. Let's get it done. Because they did ask for it. I told them we would work on it. And I think that would be, since it's nice and they're, okay, thank you.
So last week or 2 weeks ago, we had some there was a day that was really windy, really bad. And one of the employees accidentally was trying to back out, and that gate is so broad, so I probably swung back in and it busted out some panels in our brand new gate. I got them coming out. They're supposed to send me a proposal, but I haven't gotten it yet, to fix that. So, and then the only other things this ball picker. So, I remember we talked about this last meeting.
Yes.
So I found this ball picker. I really couldn't find any used ones that would suit our needs, but I found this. They can go behind a cart. It's about $1,800. I think everybody has one. Yep. It's about 3 feet wide. It's not too big. Just get your thoughts on that. If not, I can keep looking in the used market and try to find something.
$1,800?
Hey, it's almost 2. I bet with shipping and everything, it's probably 21 or 22, I'd say, after everything's said and done.
And it'll attach right to the back of a cart?
Back to a golf cart, yeah.
And they can do that in the morning?
We could do it on probably one of ours, or, yep. We just keep it down at the...
So your crew's gonna do it? Not,
I think it would probably make more sense, because
The ball picker guys, the bag crew, have been doing a pretty good job of keeping it clean now.
I've noticed, yeah.
But this wouldn't be bad to have.
Would this run every day?
it could. I mean, we could leave it up there, depending on when we get it. Maybe it's something that when they're slow, they can hop out real quick and just do it,
Yeah,
you know?
Bounce onto the back of a golf cart?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a good
You
idea. I
two
think-
figure out how you wanna do it.
Or front, I think it goes on
From a
front.
resource standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to do it first thing in the morning, or do you want to do it in the middle of the day? I mean, we can do
Well,
it,
probably before the first tee time gets out there, right? Because that's the
We have
whole...
until 9-something before the first group gets to 18.
Okay.
So they could do that at 8 and get that done. I mean, it's only a couple passes.
Right, it's only one area.
as long as your guys mowing the lawn, don't do that before
Right.
the balls are picked. I think it's a great idea. I think we should go ahead and get it done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
And you two figure out
Yeah,
The
we'll-
logistics.
We'll figure
who
it out.
wants to, whose group's doing what.
It's nice the fact that the two of you work so well together that you can make things work. Thank you.
Jeff?
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. It makes life a whole lot easier.
We put out some new sod, I don't know if you've seen that, so we sodded around like 9T, some of the areas, along 4, left of 4,
John, I have to tell you, the other day, along 8,
along 8.
no, wait, along 8, I know, this is a compliment,
No, I'm just thinking, I'm like trying to picture in my head.
in front of my house. They were edging the path.
Yeah, the coquina path.
That really, it made it look really nice. I
That-
just wanted,
Thank you for mentioning that, because I don't have that on my notes. Yeah, so we're going around right now edging the coquina path as well as the concrete path. Just put a cleaner edge on that.
it looks much nicer, it really does.
We'll probably start working on that area on 18 cart path. You know how it gets real high behind that bunker, that mound? There's a lot of material that has to go in there to fill that, to make it a lot. I mean, it's too, so, but we're gonna start working on that probably after we get done with this one with the cart paths and bunkers, we're edging bunkers as well right now. Once we get through all that, we're gonna start that little project. And then really the other, so we're getting new sidewalks put in. Obviously, people walk past, looking good. I've been in contact, I forget the guy's name, Mike, I think his name is, a little bit. Irrigation-wise, it's been fairly minimal, probably what you would expect, stuff right up against the path, you know, just roots and stuff like that. So it's been fairly minimal, but it hasn't been that bad. A lot of sod damage. I mean, they're backing dump trucks up, I know you've seen them when they were doing it, you know. So as long as I know who's fixing it, who's responsible,
Their proposal
it
indicated
has that sod in there.
that they're gonna fix it, yeah.
Whatever
so-
they damage, they will fix. And that was what was discussed in all the paperwork.
But other than that, I know the weather wasn't too favorable for them last week either when they were trying to get the rest of that cleaned up.
Do we want to give them the option of paying for us to fix it?
No, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of work. There's some areas that
If
needs,
you just wanted to manage it yourself, but that's all right.
I would say let them do it,
Okay.
because that was all part of the
Yeah,
price, and
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
included, so
to be honest with you.
Okay.
let them fix what they break.
Yeah.
That was the
The
deal.
irrigations, like I said, we kind of have to do that because you got to keep it running and stuff.
Right,
And it's been, and it has been. They've done really good. They've been really good about contacting me when it happens. So, kudos to them, and it has been minimal. A lot more, when I seen them dump trucks backing over I'm like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare. Everything's going to break. But we've been fortunate thus far.
Well, I think part of it is that this is not their first rodeo.
No, they're pretty good. They're pretty good what they do, that's for sure. Then the other things I had to discuss are the landscaping out back. We got some quotes and proposals on that, and we got the bridge quote for the bridges that we spoke about, so
And we'll go on.
that's really all I have, unless there's any questions for me.
Yes, Sharon?
And thank you for those cookies.
You're very welcome. You're not, the landscaping project, the $1 million towards that $11 million bond for landscaping is not complete yet, right?
No.
We're nowhere near complete.
We're basically starting there, and then we're gonna systematically work through.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to...
Gonna go down, we're gonna go right down Lancaster, and most of that's gonna be gone.
Thank you.
All them old palms, at least that's what I propose when we get
Yes.
there.
Okay, thank you very much.
Miss me.
John, is there something you can do on the tees,
I'm sorry?
on the golf course, the tees? Because they're pretty bad already, in some of the holes. Can you start moving tee markers? I don't care if it makes the course short.
That's one of the options we have. That's really the only thing we can do.
By May,
But that has to be accepted by play, shorten them up or lengthen them, usually you get in a lot of trouble when you shorten them up because when they have tournaments, whites are hitting with the greens or hitting with the yellow, and I get a lot of flack for
we
that.
have to do, I mean, we're charging more money. And
Sure.
those tees in certain areas, they're gonna be
Yeah.
gone by
18s?
May. Yeah.
Yeah,
17, I mean, they're bad.
yeah.
I was thinking about that the last time I played, and we go through this renovation. I mean, if there's any way we can look at, I know most of them are landlocked or, between
So
property
17,
and-
18, they need to be stripped and new soil needs to be brought in, make sure it's clean, and then
I'm talking
sodded. Because we've sodded all these tees
Is
several
there
times.
any way to
already.
expand them?
Yes, you got to lower them, flatten them out a little bit, and then they'll push out. Yeah, you can do that.
Because
Lou.
I think we have to.
Get more
When we do the
surface area.
renovation, Absolutely.
We talked about flattening them and making them all one length instead of group here, group here.
Right, because there are some small gaps, 3-foot gaps in between that you could utilize to get you,
That's a good idea.
And John, weren't we talking, excuse me
No,
just a
no,
second,
that's
weren't we talking on 17 about putting the path on the other side?
No, I think that totally makes sense, because I was thinking the same thing when I was playing the
Bring the
other
whole
week.
thing over.
If we put the path on that
The far
east side,
The east side.
as opposed to the west side, we could potentially expand out into that bank area, because there's a lot of room there, I think.
A lot of wasted space.
Yes, I agree.
So that's something we need to think about when we do that. 'Cause
When Rodney Cole from Core Crenshaw was here, did the evaluation right around, that was the one I did the add-in, the flattening the Ts
Yeah.
was a big one.
No, I think that's a good idea, because that really, because
Yeah.
you've got the space, you've got the path, you've got space and the teams.
Yes, specifically on 17, I was saying the same thing. Move
Flip it.
the path over to the residence side.
Yeah.
And expand that green out on the west side, I'm assuming, I think that.
Do you remember how 5 used to be? How 5 used to be able to drive around the tees? Do you remember that a while back? You used to be able to drive around all the tees on number 5. They used to have a cart path around.
Oh, yeah.
Where the yellow tees are.
Remember that?
Yeah, yes.
So basically, that's what we did there. We took that area and then we smashed the tees down and then expanded them out,
Right.
and now they're all got in between the cart path. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
I know.
So,
It's been a
but 18, so certain 18, 7, pro T on 7, and might as well do 6, because 6 has always had them, but they've never been as prevalent.
We got
They need to be
bigger fish to
stripped,
fry
and
right
then
now.
new
Yeah.
soil needs to be brought
I
in.
think it's definitely something.
To keep
clearly
on the
we've all-
radar.
Clearly, we've all been thinking about it, and it's got to be done. It's
Yeah.
just like Phil's saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
And this amount of people, the weather, it all compounds to make, absolutely.
All right. Jeff?
Well, John kind of leads into what I was going to talk about. The weather in the last 45 days has been some historically poor weather for Southwest Florida. One of John's brethren, Darren Davis, who is the golf course superintendent at Old Florida, put up a thing the other day that they had the least amount of sunlight recorded in Florida in 83 years in the past 45 plus days.
Wow.
So those conditions have created things on the golf course that have really put John behind a little bit of an 8 ball. Remember back to all our 6th grade science, the major components of photosynthesis are sunlight, warmth, and
Water.
rain, water. Thank you.
Got the water.
We got the water, we just don't have the sunlight. And therefore, a lot of the golf courses look a little brown in spots. And I know probably for people who don't play golf, look out their back window, they might see the golf course and say, why is it so brown? We have plenty of rain. Well, Bermuda really thrives in sunlight. I mean, honestly, it is a grass that is majorly dependent on sunlight more than the grasses you might see in your northern golf courses. Anyway, long story short, we've dealt with that, and we've also dealt with the poor weather conditions and the reduction in revenue over the 45 days. All in all, it's not been a great couple of months there, December and January, for weather. Personally, I've been playing the golf course more this year than I ever have because of medical conditions, and part of my rehab is getting out to play golf. And the golf course greens are the best I've ever seen them. And the fact that he's very humble, will tell you that he's been able to keep this golf course in pretty good condition considering the environmental things that have happened. I mean, some of even the higher end golf courses in the Mediterra, other higher end clubs have struggled this season with conditions of their golf course. And John's been able to keep us up and keep us going and done a great job. So, thanks, buddy. Thank you. As most of you saw, Mr. Dalton has been helping us a great deal with, I don't know what you say, board member Dalton. I was going to say commissioner, but it's not commissioner.
Supervisor.
Supervisor, that's the proper statement. Anyway, he created what's called slice and dice, and it's like a micro look at how we generate funds and what's going on. It's come in really handy here in this current weather and downturn a little bit and what's going on, and a couple things that we're seeing in the amount of rain we've had and the rain influence. You know, the number of rain checks have jumped from, let me put my glasses on here. You know, we did 38 in last January. We've done 103 so far in this January. So, you know, we've seen rain checks jump up. We've seen the rain days affected. We've also seen some of the areas that we went up. We've seen increased resident play, which is great. You know, that's what we want. We want residents to play golf. We want you to enjoy the course. We want it, and we want to be able to offer you that value. And we have seen that increase, and that's great. But the only issue would be that kind of affects our bottom line just a little bit, in the fact that we went up 20% across the board, except at the resident rate. Resident rate stayed the same for the last 4 or 5 years, which I think is deserved. You guys took half the bond and helped pay for the golf course, therefore it should be happening. We might consider, and I know this is a touchy subject, we might consider in 2024-25 maybe going up a little in the resident to get that to balance out a little bit. The resident rate is close to, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, a 60% discount.
Yeah, in season, it's about a 60% discount.
So,
It's substantial. There's
Yes.
no doubt about that.
yeah, so, you know, in the future, we maybe want to look at balancing that out a little bit.
Excuse me just a second, Jeff.
Yes.
I know we said once the bond was paid off, we would look at the rates and adjust them at that point. Because by then, the residents had paid off their portion of the bond. And, you know, we did give a discount at that point. So that is something that was discussed when the bond was originally issued years ago. So
Yes.
with that being said, that it had been discussed, it's not just something new that we've thought about. Go ahead,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And, you know, we don't really know about what the uptake of this season is going to be because of the weather we've dealt with. According to the forecast, which you take with a grain of salt, I don't know about you guys, but weather forecasts are all over the board. I find the best way to find out about the weather is the old Farmer's Almanac. It'll tell you what the weather's going to be, and it's pretty much accurate. Anyway, if the forecast holds, the next 10 days are going to be fairly nice. A little bit of a cooling trend towards the end of it, but sunshine the whole time. So we will get more in depth into what the season is going to look like once we get better weather. But even with all that said, we're not that far behind the previous year. I think we can make it up and get close to the previous year and we're going to be fine. I just think it's a matter of getting some good weather and going from there. And there are some stop gaps in the budget that we can get to if necessary to make it work. I mean, we were looking at what we were trying to do is achieve enough extra cash to pay an extra bond payment to get us closer to the renovation that we just talked about a few minutes ago. But all in all, I think we're going to be fine. It's just a matter of, I want to make sure you guys are aware of what's happening.
Jeff, with that being said, our payables are up to date, water and everything else?
Yeah, I don't have water bills in the payables, but I paid payables complete to zero this morning.
Okay,
I need those water bills in the payables to be able to pay them.
okay.
I mean, I pay,
Everything's paid.
every time we get payables, we pay to zero.
Okay. With that being said, and I have to get this out to you guys, our cash balance as of last Friday was $484,000. I've been tracking this since 2016. And with payables being zero, this is the highest amount we have had this time of the year, not borrowing money from the irrigation or having outstanding payables. So kudos to both of you for doing that. I mean, this really is, I think that's one of the reasons that the bond was rated so highly, was because of what you've done. But we're in very good shape at this
Is that
point.
484 not minus what he spent today, though, right? Or what he did this morning?
What he did this morning, but this is as of last Friday.
What did you do this morning?
It was 55, I think? 53, so we're still at $434,000. So, and that's with not owing anybody any money, because there were times that we were borrowing $200, $300 from the irrigation fund. So, I just want,
Go ahead, sorry.
no, I just want the residents to know that financially, we're okay.
Good spot, yeah.
But we still need to build up.
Yeah, we have that last sand trap payment too,
Right,
coming up, I think that's February 1st.
February 1st, and then
So
this,
that's 60, at least that's gone then, so we've paid that off.
And that's done.
That's a good
yes.
deal on there.
I think it's important to point out, we're heading into the best part of our financial season.
Right.
And even though play is down 20% year-to-date, mainly because of the weather, the average price per play is up 12%. So I see that projecting through the year in our financials to be in a much better position than we have been, which will afford us to do some of these upgrades and renovations we want to do.
The thing I would say about that is, I mean, I know there's a lot of traffic, I think people are here, but just happen to know some people in other industries, service-related industries, and they're all saying business is slow.
Yeah.
I think people are tightening the belt,
Duffy's,
and I think we need to watch that.
Duffy's said they were down about 10%. I mean, last year may have been a bit of an anomaly. I think that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because of the hurricane, because there were so many clubs that were having, major problems, and then the golf course is closed, and we had a lot of overflow business from that. But I mean, still, we are growing.